Hello, everyone. Dr. Victoria Skirbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. It's time for Taroscopes again. This is the Taroscopes for the sign of Gemini. That's Gemini rising, Gemini sun, Gemini moon for the month of April. April, can you believe we've made it to April? Boy, did March fly by. I can't remember 31 days going quite so fast. Of course, there was a lot of energy in March, a lot of changes, um, a lot of changes. We had Saturn move into Pisces. We had Pluto dip his toe into the waters of Aquarius, and that's kind of where we stand as we start the month. Now, you are a Mercury ruled sign, so what's going on with Mercury is significant for you through April. Mercury goes into Taurus on the 3rd, and it's in Taurus all month. Taurus for you is it's actually your 12th house, and we have a retrograde period. We have a retrograde period, and it goes retrograde. Let's see, when does it go retrograde? It goes retrograde on the 21st, still in Taurus. We do have a new moon solar eclipse the day before Mercury goes retrograde, and that eclipse is happening at 29 degrees of 29 degrees of Aries. I'll be right 1 second. Sorry about that. I had to answer the phone. You see me? Okay. I don't know. Anyway, we do have a new moon. And the new moon is at the last degree of Aries. We had our last new moon was also in Aries, but it was at the 1st degree of Aries. So we have a new moon in the 1st degree of Aries, and we have a new moon in the last degree of Aries. There is a full moon that occurs this month in Libra. When the sun's in Aries, the full moon has to be in Libra because it's the opposite sign. Full moons are always oppositions. And that's happening on the 6th. That is happening on the 6th. And we also have, let's see, we have a square. The day that Mercury goes into Taurus, it squares Pluto in Aquarius, because Taurus and Aquarius are both fixed signs. And so we kind of start off with this sort of like energy of wanting to take an action, wanting to create something with our words, with our information. And we're going to get just so far with that. And then we're going to have to review what it is that we created, because Mercury goes retrograde. And Mercury goes retrograde, as I said, on the 21st. It is retrograde until May, let's see, May. Let's go direct. It goes direct on May 14th. So it's pretty much retrograde. The sign that rules you, Gemini, is retrograde from the 21st to the 11th. So, and then once it moves forward, it has to go through a shadow, but it's still better than when it's going backwards. Unless you happen to be one of those Geminis born with a Mercury retrograde. And then when Mercury goes retrograde, you're even more of a genius because you know how to work with it, because that's the way you've always experienced it. Mercury retrogrades tend to point in the direction opposite that the sign is in, right? And so if Mercury's retrograde in Taurus, its retrograde motion to a certain extent sends energy towards Scorpio. And so it is about evaluating and making changes, because we're dealing with that sort of transformational Scorpio energy. Then when Mercury moves forward, then we can move forward on our ideas. All the Mercury retrogrades this year are, except for a little piece of the last one, are in earth signs. So it's one of those years when all the Mercury retrogrades are in Earth. And so Mercury retrograde is about reconsideration, and we're reconsidering our values, our money, our resources, our those things that bring structure to our lives. All right, is there anything else I want to say that is poking out at me? If you want the full story of the astrology, you can check out the Astrology Kabbalah of April. You will see the Kabbalah part, and then at least up to the first week of April. Sometimes I'll put 2 weeks in. It depends on how much is going on. Last month in March, I had to do one every week because so much was going on. So I think we get more of a break in April than we had in March. Okay, so I've been shuffling my elemental, what is it called? Elemental Power Tarot. This is a pretty cool tarot deck. I work with it all the time, and I'm still learning the cards. So you'll have to be patient with me. But I just spent a whole bunch of time shuffling. So let's see what we have here. Okay, we have the 8 of Cups. So so this is for Gemini. And if you wanted to, this could also be for any prominent Geminis. And I'll name a few prominent Geminis in the world. We have Xi Jinping is a Gemini. Bolsonaro was a Gemini too, I think, but he's pretty much out of power. So I don't think we have to worry about him. Trump is a Gemini. Giuliani is a Gemini. Let's see, is anybody else a Gemini that I can think of off the top of my head? No. So we have the 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups is really an energy of making sure that what you're doing is spiritually satisfying. And no matter how much energy you've put into something, sometimes the 8 of Cups sort of gives us the sense that it's a no-win, right? It's a no-win. It's time to move away from that and to turn your back and find a different path. So there's this energy of not being particularly getting the results, perhaps, that you want to get from the way that you're working on a certain level. And it's emotional, right? So it's emotional. It's like not emotionally fulfilled. And so the 8 of Cups will often indicate us turning our back on something we've put a lot of energy into and moving on from that. Let's see the challenge. We have the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Wands. So the challenge is what to do next. The challenge is what to do next. The Ace of Wands is the birth of creativity. It's a highly creative force. So while you're stepping away from what it is that you've put all this energy and all this feeling, all this emotion in, you're challenged by, what do I do next? You know, sometimes we stick into these situations because it's the only thing we know. And we're too afraid to step out and try something new. Let's see what's underneath it all. We have the 4 of Fire. The 4 of Fire. The 4 of Fire is it's a beneficial energy. It's an energy of like camaraderie, people coming together in celebration. So there's in the Rider-Waite deck, it's the people at the wedding. So sometimes it's considered a wedding card. This might have to do with somebody you're married to. At the root of this, maybe it has to do with somebody that you've committed yourself to, and you're having this crisis point in that, because it's rooted in the 4 of Wands, and the 4 of Wands is a card of, you know, people coming together for a common celebration of sorts. Let's see what's in the past. Oops. We have the Hanged Man in the past, so you've had a period of time. I don't know if this is the immediate past, like if this was the recent past, or maybe just a past pattern. The Hanged Man requires us to look at things from a different perspective. The Hangman requires us to connect with cosmic consciousness. This could be that kind of experience. It could have been, maybe you did some mushrooms, maybe you did some ayahuasca, maybe you did something that would change your perception of reality. And it was a necessary shift of reality, even just looking at something from a different perspective, maybe just meditating, maybe just having a spontaneous vision of some sort while you're in this place of feeling like you can't affect anything. There's no power to do anything. You just have to sort of sit with the ideas. And that may also be a reflection of the Eight of Cups, where you've spent all this time sort of reflecting and looking at it in a different perspective, and yet there's still this need to move away from something. In the sky, we have the Page or Princess of Wands. So there are messages coming. So the question that you ask yourself, what is next? The answers are in the air. The answers are, Spirit has answers for you, and you need to reach up and grab for it. In the immediate future, we have the Page of Swords, or the Princess of Swords. The earthly nature of swords. And this can be keeping your ear to the ground, this can also be a spy in the camp. So I would say you need to be careful about who you speak to, and maybe even who you speak to about this divine discontent that you're feeling, the sense that you need to move on. I would keep a close counsel with that. And I'm not saying forever, but I'm saying right now, it's important to keep a close counsel. How people see you from the outside, we have the Ace of Cups. So you're seen as many people love you. Many people love you. Let's see your domestic situation. We have the Nine of Cups. So this is getting this is your wish card, right? But it's also, there's a almost like what's the word? Like a gluttonous energy to this card. We can sometimes have that gluttonous energy to this card. So you have to watch out that you're not overindulging in drink, overindulging in food. There's a tendency to sort of overindulge here. So just be aware of that. Let's see, hopes and fears, strength. Are you strong enough to make the changes that you need to make, to walk away from that which you no longer find emotionally fulfilling? Do you have the strength? And the outcome is the Star. So there are new possibilities, but as I said with the messenger, the Page of Wands in the sky, you have to look up. This is a card of meditation. So if you don't know what the next step is going to be, meditation is going to be a great way for you to glean what needs to happen. Underneath it all, we have the Hierophant. This is listening to the inner voice. The Eight of Swords, listening to the inner voice to get out of difficult situations, and anxiety. So there is an underlying anxiety, and it's not easy to change course when you almost made it to the end, right? You're like, I'm almost there. And then you're like, what am I doing this for? Like, to what end? And you turn around and you walk away from it. So that can create a lot of anxiety, but you need to listen to your inner voice on this one. Okay, the other thing that I've been doing with all the readings is pulling a Starseed oracle card, and I'm only using one oracle deck this month to see what signs get what what card. So if you're checking your sun and your moon and your rising, you might get a card more than once. So we'll see, because I don't, so far I haven't picked the same card twice. So let me find that deck, and I'll pick a oracle deck. I thought I had to go far. It was like right where I put it. Right. I was said I'm going to organize myself. So I did. And I couldn't remember where I organized myself, but I found it fast enough. So this is a cool deck, right? It's a deck by Rebecca Campbell, artwork by Danielle Noel. And this is really cool. I love that. I love when they do unique stuff like that, because that costs money. They don't have to do it. But they did, and I love it. All right, let's pick a Starseed Oracle for Gemini. What is the message? Sorry, guys. Get a chance to look at my hand if you like to read palms, I guess. Come on now. Come on. Sorry about this. Oh, I guess I should just sit back here. Maybe that would be helpful instead of jumping back and forth. I get so excited that I jump around, and the camera doesn't like that. When you watch the talking heads on TV, they're all like this. Bark, 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 bark. They're not like this. They're not like bobbleheads, but I can't help myself. I'm a bobblehead. Always have been, probably always will be. All right. Let's see. A message for the Geminis for April 2023. Okay. You're not for everyone. You're not for everyone. Okay. Embrace your weirdness. Face your true north. The world is filled with people who, no matter what you do, just won't like you. But it is also filled with those who will love you fiercely. They are your people. You're not for everyone, and that's okay. Talk to the people who can hear you. Don't waste your precious time and gifts trying to convince others of your value. They won't ever want they won't ever want what you're selling. Don't try to convince them to walk alongside you. You'd be wasting both your time and theirs, and will likely inflict unnecessary wounds that will take precious time to heal. You're not for them, and they're not for you. Politely wave them off, wave them on, and continue on your way. Sharing your path with someone is a sacred gift. Don't cheapen it by rolling yours in the wrong direction. Keep facing true north. Pulling this card means that you're being called to embrace your uniqueness, to own your weirdness, to let the world see who you really are, to reveal your multifaceted, multidimensional nature, not to dim your light according to who is in your presence, to own all parts of yourself so that your people, the ones who are the same kind of weird as you, can recognize when your paths cross. How can you embrace your weirdness and not care so much about what other people think? Interesting. What other people think of you is none of your business. That's what I like to say. I try to live that way, but we can't always be so sure. All right, guys, have yourself a wonderful month. Like and subscribe if you would. If you're interested in learning astrology with me, I'm starting a beginner's astrology course on the second week of April. I haven't picked a date, or a night actually. The classes run on 6 consecutive whatever night I pick. And I already have a Monday class and a Tuesday class. So I'm thinking it might be a Thursday night, but I haven't yet decided. So I will post that. It'll be on my events page on my website, theseedyourtransformation.com. If you're interested in a reading, you can go to my services page. It lists my services. I offer hour and hour and a half readings on astrology, Kabbalah, and numerology. It's a really interesting reading. I think you'd really enjoy it. Mostly everybody gets one. I maybe had one complaint, and it had nothing to do with the reading. That's another story for another day. But most people really enjoy it and find it very illuminating. And I want to give a special hello and shout out to my new subscribers, who many of you came through me through Cash Peters, saying that he had a good reading with me. I really appreciate that. He's a very lovely man. And I don't think he would mind me telling you. He's a Gemini, just like you. Hopefully he doesn't mind me telling you. Oh, well. Sorry, Cash. Now they know you're a Gemini. All right, everyone, have yourself a great month. And also a shout out to my tried and true patrons on my Patreon page. I do have a Patreon page. All the links are below if you want to support me that way, or all my subscribers from many years now. So thank you very much. I'll see you again next month. Take care, everyone. Namaste.